This book is for business leaders, senior management, board members, and those that set strategy for software solutions. It is also for those who want to influence senior leadership to sponsor a UX program. The organization could be an enterprise, a small or medium-sized business, independent software vendor, ISV, or startup. UX professionals may find it useful if looking for a methodology, especially one that operates at scale. Implementing UX requires change that is best sponsored from a senior position. That is because when UX is done correctly, it will touch many parts of the organization, not just those directly responsible for building an application, such as development teams. This approach often requires cross-functional cooperation that may only be possible with support from leadership. This book will equip you with the knowledge to help put in place a UX program. To do that, we will address the following key questions. What value does UX deliver to a business? How is that value realized? What is required to realize that value? In the chapter, What is UX?, we define UX by examining the disciplines involved and the important principles from which the benefit is derived. In making the business case, we explore the value drivers of efficiency, effectiveness, and satisfaction that help to shape a business case. In getting started, we consider how UX and the case for it can be sold to the business and how to identify the key stakeholders. Then, in Roles and Skills, we discuss the skills, roles, and tools needed. We define the central role that users play throughout any UX implementation. We then model implementation through the UX lifecycle. There are two primary ways to improve the design of a company's products. 1. Have a CEO who makes product design a priority. 2. Have an executive team that makes product design a priority. Delivering UX to new places. UX will increasingly be relevant to parts of organizations that it has historically not been. For example, IT functions may not have embraced UX in the past, but this is going to change. This is for several reasons. For many people, UX will be most familiar through business-to-consumer B2C projects such as company websites or customer-facing mobile apps. These are usually delivered through marketing functions and often by using outside agencies with UX skills. These applications are growing in number and complexity, and businesses find they need to deliver more apps faster. As a result, they are increasingly taking development of such projects in-house, and so also need to adopt UX capabilities. Where UX has traditionally been ignored is with business-to-business B2B or business-to-employee B2E software. That is, applications that serve business users for the purpose of work, often referred to as productivity applications. These are typically developed by internal IT teams or ISVs, companies that build software. They are environments that have traditionally not embraced UX, but that will now need to. This book should help them do that. Addressing scale and complexity requires a methodology. The UX Lifecycle provides a methodology framework for delivering UX. Using this framework, each organization will need to find the processes that work best for them, and UX practitioners will have their own unique contributions to make. It will provide a starting point from which businesses can build their own best practices. As we move into an increasingly software-driven world where we have applications growing in both number and complexity, we need to look at how UX can be scaled, an area where the UX lifecycle helps. For example, an organization may have 1 or 2 mobile apps for customers, but can have many tens or hundreds for use internally. Increasing complexity comes in the form of technology requirements and in the delivery paradigms from mobile to wearables to the Internet of Things. 53% of enterprises that scored as digital disruptors also now see themselves as software companies. With that change comes added scale and complexity in software development that UX will need to address, and this book will consider ways to do that. Many development teams are already being pushed to change to deliver innovation faster, and UX can be part of that. UX cannot be merely added on to the development process by a small external team. To deliver the type of experiences that change a business requires a strong internal commitment to the right skills and processes. This book and the UX Lifecycle will prepare you to take that journey. At the end of this book, there are 2 example case studies that provide a guide as to how UX adoption may look within large and medium-sized organizations. Deep dive. How does UX differ across B2C, B2B, and B2E? While UX for B2C has much in common with UX for B2B/B2E, there are substantive differences that range from practical to cultural. These can be important to understand, especially when building a business case and assembling implementation teams. B2C software, such as company websites or mobile apps, is usually driven by stakeholders with experience in optimizing for better outcomes through changes in the user experience. They have not always practiced UX, but the idea that there can be value in improving the user's experience is already there. The functions within the business responsible for such solutions, typically marketing, may have easier access to the type of skills required to improve UX. B2E and B2B applications tend to address more complex business processes and are the product of technically led teams, most often in IT. These environments typically have less experience of optimizing software experiences and can lack the know-how to realize and demonstrate the value in doing so. They can also find it challenging to find the right human resources to address UX. Both B2C and B2E/B2B can be important for businesses, and this book can help implement great experiences across all software solutions.